After 23 years of marriage, my wife, Amy, 48, cheated on me and then begged me to take her back when her younger boyfriend dumped her. Now, even our kids don't want anything to do with her. I'm a 50-year-old man, and we've been together for over 2 decades. We have 3 children, Rachel, 22, Jake, 19, and Ava, 17. A week ago, Amy sat me down and confessed she had been cheating on me for 2 years with her co-worker, Matt, 27. She said she was ready to leave me and start a life with him. She thought it was the perfect time since our kids were older. Rachel had moved out for work, Jake was in college, and Ava was about to turn 18. When Amy told me, I was devastated. Luckily, the kids weren't home to see my complete breakdown. Rachel was at work, Jake was in college, and Ava was at a friend's house. Amy chose that day to confess because the house was empty. As I cried, I begged her to give our marriage another chance, but she said she couldn't stay in what she called a loveless marriage. She treated me like I was a wounded animal, not her husband of 23 years. After sobbing for half an hour, I pulled myself together. Amy had already packed a bag, so I told her to leave. She was surprised that I went from begging her to stay to asking her to leave, but she didn't argue. She just quietly grabbed her bag and walked out. After an awkward side hug, which I didn't even return, Amy left. I just stood there stiff like a statue. Once she was gone, I broke down completely and cried for hours. My marriage had fallen apart, and the woman I loved more than anything had been cheating on me for 2 years without remorse. Even when she confessed, she acted like it wasn't a big deal and only tried to comfort me because she felt awkward seeing me cry. My mind was spinning with endless thoughts, and I felt completely lost. A week has passed since then, and while I feel a little more stable, it's still hard. I'm trying to stay strong for my kids because the situation has shaken them too. When Ava came home that day, she found me sleeping on the couch. When I woke up, she noticed my red, puffy eyes and kept asking where her mom was and why I had been crying. I didn't want to say it at first because speaking the truth would make it all real, but eventually I told her everything. Of course, I ended up crying again, which felt embarrassing, but Ava comforted me genuinely. She was just as shocked as I was when I first found out. I hadn't told anyone else about what happened until Ava stepped in. She made calls to her siblings, Rachel and Jake, and asked them to come home as soon as possible. She also called my brother Eric, 45, who's always been a dependable guy. Eric is single by choice, but I knew I could count on him in tough times, and he proved me right. Despite living far away, he arrived at my house within hours of Ava's call. Eric moved in temporarily to help take care of us and give me the space to grieve. He knew I needed time to process the end of my marriage and adjust to this new reality. It's been a week now and he's still here, along with all my kids. We're trying to cope with the situation together, but it still feels like a bad dream I can't wake up from. I didn't expect Amy leaving to affect me this deeply, but it's clear I need all the support I can get. I've struggled to get out of bed most mornings, but my kids have been incredibly sweet and supportive, and I'm so thankful for them. I've also spoken to my lawyer, and we're preparing for the inevitable divorce. However, I haven't filed yet because I've been waiting for Amy to serve me first. T felt strange that Amy hadn't filed for divorce yet, especially after telling me she was leaving. But last night, I found out why. Late at night, I got an unexpected call from her, which shocked me because we hadn't spoken since she left a week ago. I had no idea why she was calling out of the blue. When I answered, her voice sounded distressed, and I could tell she'd been crying. She asked about the kids, and I told her they were all with me, along with my brother. I tried to sound as indifferent as possible because I didn't want her to know I still cared. The truth is, I do care, but I didn't want her to see that after everything she did. After I answered her questions about the kids, she suddenly started crying on the phone. It caught me off guard because I didn't expect her to break down. She's the one who cheated and left, so her crying didn't make sense to me. Despite my efforts to stay detached, I couldn't help but ask if she was okay. That's when she told me what had happened. After leaving our home, she asked Matt if she could move in with him, but he rejected her. He told her he wasn't ready for a serious relationship and had only been messing around with her. He admitted he wanted to enjoy his youth and have fun before settling down. While Amy is attractive for her age, Matt made it clear that she wasn't what he wanted for a long-term partner. He said he wanted someone younger who could give him children and build a future with him. Something Amy, being older and already having 3 kids, couldn't offer. Matt didn't think Amy was the right person for a serious relationship, and even if he was ready, he wouldn't want to be with her. He made it clear that she wasn't someone he saw a future with. Now Amy was having a breakdown because she had nowhere to go. She cried on the phone for about 15 minutes, realizing that her affair had ruined everything. To be honest, I felt a sense of satisfaction because of what was happening to her. She told me that our kids weren't speaking to her anymore and had blocked her everywhere without saying a word. She'd been staying in a hotel for the past week because she didn't know if I'd take her back. She was too afraid to ask, but after everything, she finally broke down and called me. She admitted she couldn't stay in the hotel forever and asked if she could live with me and if I'd give her one more chance. I was stunned by the audacity of her asking me that. Within seconds, all my sadness turned to anger, which I should have felt a long time ago. I immediately told her there would be no second chance, just like she hadn't given me one. I told her she deserved everything that was happening to her because of what she'd done. I then hung up without waiting for her to reply and turned my phone off so I could sleep without thinking about her. I was furious that she thought I'd just fix everything for her, as I always did in the past. We'd had many ups and downs in our marriage, but I was always the one trying to fix things, even when I wasn't in the wrong. But now, I'd had enough. I couldn't forget what she'd done, and I didn't even want to. This was a wake-up call for me. I had always loved her more than she loved me, but that ended now. I don't think I did anything wrong by asking her to leave and refusing to let her come back. The house is mine since I bought it, and legally it's under my name, so she can't force me to let her stay. She's tried to make me feel like I'm being cruel, but I know I'm not. The next morning, I turned my phone back on and found several texts from her. She was furious and acting like the victim, saying I was selfish and didn't care about her. She also accused me of turning the kids against her, but that's not true. I didn't even know they had blocked her until she told me. I don't think any of this is my fault. Maybe my anger is speaking, but it just seems crazy to me that she would accuse me of being selfish after everything she did. She cheated, and then when Matt rejected her, she came crawling back, expecting me to take her back. I don't think I'm in the wrong at all. I wanted to make sure I'm not being overly cruel out of anger in this situation. So I'm turning to you all now to ask if I'm wrong for refusing to let my wife move back in after she cheated on me with her coworker. Update 1. Hey everyone, first of all, a huge thanks to everyone who took the time to respond to my original post. I'm so grateful that I posted it because I now realize how badly Amy was gaslighting me. She made me question my decision to not let her back into my home and life. I was having second thoughts, and I probably would have given in if I hadn't posted here. Thank you to everyone who responded. I really appreciate it, and I think you saved me from a lifetime of misery and mistrust that would have happened if I decided to forgive Amy and get back together with her. But now, I'm clear-headed and I know she doesn't deserve a second chance. It's been a few days since my original post, and she's been texting me a lot, trying to convince me to take her back. She's tried everything: guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and repeatedly apologizing, saying she made a huge mistake by having an affair and that she'll do everything she can to make it up to me. I don't know why she thinks I'll still take her back after what she did. This isn't just a small argument. It's a betrayal. She still doesn't understand the seriousness of what she did, and I doubt she ever will. I'm feeling much better now. I've sent Rachel and Jake back to their normal lives, and Ava is still living with me. She checks up on me from time to time, which I appreciate, but I've told her not to feel like she has to stay with me all the time. I want her to enjoy her time with her friends or do whatever makes her happy. I know this is tough for all of us, but we'll get through it. Ava is also supposed to move out for college in the fall, so I want her to make the most of her time here while she can. My brother is still living with us, and I'm really thankful for that. I've talked a lot about the emotional impact of the affair and Amy leaving, but there are also everyday things that have been affected by her absence. They might seem small, but they're constant reminders that she's gone. With Amy gone, we had to figure out who would take over her share of the chores. Amy was the one who usually did all our laundry because she said she enjoyed it. The kids and I took care of the house, cleaning, taking out the trash, and doing the dishes. Amy did the laundry and the cooking because she liked doing those things. But now, it's up to me and Eric to take over, since Ava is busy with her own life. I'm not going to keep her at home just to help with chores. My brother has been a huge help ever since he came here. Even though he's not very emotional or affectionate, he's been there for me and has made me feel like I can relax a little. I really needed that. I know he'll have to go back to his life at some point, but I'm lucky to have him here now. As for the legal side of things, my lawyer and I filed for divorce yesterday. We went ahead with the petition after I realized that Amy wasn't going to file anymore because she wanted to come back. She'll be served the papers in a couple of days, and then the real battle will begin. It's already mentally exhausting just thinking about it, so I can't imagine how tough it'll be when I have to actually go through it. I never thought I'd be getting a divorce, but here we are. It's a horrible feeling, but I know there's nothing more I can do. At least I'll know I did my best to keep the marriage together, and whatever happens now is not my fault. It's hers. I don't need to feel guilty about it. I'm also thankful that my kids are mostly grown up now, because I don't think I could handle a custody battle on top of the divorce. Update 2. Amy was served with the divorce papers today, and I don't think she took it well. If the texts she sent me are anything to go by, she's really upset. I haven't blocked her yet, because I haven't had the strength to cut her off completely, but I will soon. She sent me several harsh messages, saying that I ruined her life and that I'm just getting revenge on her for trying to have fun and distract herself from her boring life. She also said that I'm almost 50 and look it, too. I admit that I don't go to the gym anymore and my hairline is receding, but I think that's just part of getting older. I'm a father of 3, and most of my kids are adults now, so I think it's normal for me to look my age. I'm not ugly, and I'm not unhealthily overweight either. I've kept myself in decent shape for my age, but if Amy expects me to look the same as I did when we first got married in our early 20s, then that's a problem. I don't think it's possible for anyone to look the same as they did when they were younger, unless you're a celebrity who can afford to spend all your time and money on looking young. Of course, she finds Matt more physically attractive than me, but that's where commitment in a marriage comes in. If she couldn't control herself and threw herself at the first young guy she found attractive, that's not my fault. It's kind of sad that she's still trying to blame me and act like what she did was okay, expecting me to fix myself instead. I guess I'm only now starting to see all the red flags that I ignored for over 20 years because I loved her. But now that she's about to be my ex-wife, I see who she really is, and I feel like a fool for never acknowledging this before. I should have noticed, but I chose to ignore it because I loved Amy. Even now, deep down, I know I still do, which feels pathetic. It's embarrassing to admit, but I can't help it. That's really what's been stopping me from blocking her and cutting her off completely. I'm just hoping I can find the strength to do it soon, because I don't think I can keep dealing with her craziness anymore. I don't want to see more of this side of her. I won't call it her evil side, because what she's doing goes beyond that. It's cruel, almost to the point of being laughable. Update 3. There's been a very ironic turn of events, but thankfully, it doesn't affect me directly. I found out from my daughter Rachel a few hours ago that Amy is now having online drama with Matt. Yesterday, she posted a rant about how Matt led her on for 2 years and then dumped her because he didn't see a future with her. Now that I think about it, it was pretty stupid of her to leave her life behind without even talking things through with him first. I'm not a cheater, but at least she should have thought things through before diving into a relationship with Matt and asking him if he wanted the same things. Back to the post. A couple of Amy's female co-workers commented on it, saying Matt had been involved with them too. So, it turns out Matt was basically the office playboy and never truly loved Amy. I didn't believe in karma before, but this feels like it. I can't believe this is happening to her. I blocked her, and so has Rachel, but she found out from a cousin of hers who still has Amy on social media. We haven't announced our separation to the rest of the family yet, but I think this post pretty much does the job. I'll tell my family soon, but right now, I'm just going to enjoy the drama Amy's caught up in. Matt definitely deserves a round of applause. I can't imagine anyone pulling off multiple affairs in the same office for over a year. I hated him at first when I found out Amy was cheating with him, but now I'm starting to warm up to him. I might even congratulate him. I don't know. All I know is that this feels like the perfect payback for what Amy did to me, and it's a clear example of the consequences of cheating. Ruining a good life for a little bit of fun, as she called it herself. At least I'll soon be out of this mess in her life, and I can't wait for the divorce to be finalized. Update 4. Hi. It's been a little over a month since my original post, and we're now in the settlement negotiations phase. It's amazing how I look at her now and feel absolutely nothing. She smiles at me sometimes during meetings and tries to talk to me afterward, but I do my best to avoid her and keep my distance. As far as I know, she's living with a friend now and has been fired from her job. I don't think I'll have to give her any alimony because of her very public confession of her affair on Facebook. Thanks to her delusional belief that Matt would ever be serious about her, I don't even need to prove she was cheating. She did all the work for me. My kids still aren't speaking to her, and we prefer to pretend she doesn't even exist anymore. I know it's not the healthiest way to handle things, but we'll deal with it later when enough time has passed. Right now, it's still too fresh to talk about emotionally. I'm doing a lot better than I was when I first posted here, and I know things will only improve with time. I'm probably going to start therapy soon after the divorce is finalized. Hopefully, that will help me feel okay about everything eventually,